Alex Cole making his way to the ring. 9 fights into his professional career, the 31-year-old southpaw, who comes from the town of Faversham. One of their first boxers up, I think, in something like 6 decades, so very popular round those parts. Big fish in a small pond, I suppose you could say, and he's recovered well from that stoppage defeat last November with a couple of wins back-to-back. Last time up at York Hall, he was here in this ring back in February as well. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. You can see that he's still looking for his first stoppage win, Alex Cole, but he's 4 years younger, slight advantage in height and 3 inches in reach as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout scheduled for 6 3-minute rounds in the super middleweight division. This bout is brought to you by Johnny Clark of Top Tier Boxing and the proud sponsors by Insulation, Synergy Direct, and Think Green Partners. This bout is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, your timekeeper at the bell, Brett Bowles, and the third person in the ring in charge of the action, referee Amy Poo. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the white and blue. His official weight of 12 stones, 1 pound. He has a record of 19 fights, 2 draws, 3 wins, and all 3 wins come in by way of knockout. Hailing from Poland, Daniel Przewieslik. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He's wearing the white and black. His official weight of 12 stones, 2 pounds. He has a record of 9 fights, 1 loss, 1 draw, and 7 wins. Hailing from Faversham, Kent, England, United Kingdom, introducing Alex Cole.
Popular figure, Alex Cole, originally from France, now very much ensconced and based in Faversham, Kent, where he runs his own roofing business. Bit easier to get time off work. He's in great shape, and let's see how he gets on tonight.
He was supposed to be fighting Taylor Jordan, which would have been a really good matchup, because we saw Taylor Jordan at the end of April with a good win after being out of the ring for a really long time. He was kind of making a second pro debut, really. But he's ended up with Przewieslik instead, who, as Alex said, got stopped by George Liddard, who we'll see in a bit, who's a good fighter on the charge. Early stages.
Yeah, Liddard's can punch, quite athletic, so no disgrace there. That was on a decent bill as well, so he's had a bit of that experience. That was when Diego Pacheco came over here to fight Jack Cullen. And you can see Cole trying to work behind the southpaw jab. We've just not seen that much of Przewieslik. He's trying to be busy through the first minute or so. He's a good-looking fighter, Pacheco, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Sometimes it reminds me a bit of a kind of Kelly Pavlik, the way he fights, just a little bit. Really tall and rangy. There are times he looks absolute dynamite, and then other times in the same round he looks quite ordinary. Suddenly he can just explode and look quite a destructive fighter.
He's kept everything nice and neat in this opening round, Cole. He's kept that distance nicely. Przewieslik has never been able to really get close enough to let anything go. He tends to peck with that jab a bit, Cole. It'd be nice to see him snap it out more, but that's good work, isn't it? Takes his feet out, tucks up behind the shoulder.
Yeah, he's very much a kind of scoring punch box. A little short right hand there from Przewieslik. Just a little bit of consternation there for Cole. He nearly walked onto that one, but yeah, it's a very point-scoring style, isn't it?
Almost got caught by a right hand there. His feet crossed a bit as he came in, through the left hand, finished with the left hand, brought it back quite low, stayed where he was, and Przewieslik ditched the right hand in. Didn't really make too strong a contact, but just needs to be a little bit careful.
I just think with that style, if you're just picking up points, that's great. But if your opponent knows that maybe they can afford to cop one to land their own, might just give the incentive to try and walk through and forward those lighter shots. So you don't want to be giving that kind of incentive to an opponent.
As you say that, it just looked to me towards the end of that round, and I'm guessing you picked up on the same thing, that he fancies this a bit, I think, Przewieslik.
Yeah, I think he should. Always that mental hurdle to be cleared for a boxer coming back from a knockout as well. Seemed to say all the right things, Alex Cole, in truth. Accepted that it was part of the business, one of those things. And he has responded with a couple of wins too, so it does seem like he's outwardly over that, but you never know.
You definitely do never know. It's a difficult thing. I spoke to him about it on the media day, and how fighters choose to try and recover the story they tell themselves can be quite illuminating. They can choose different approaches, and the approach of "it's the business I'm in" is a perfectly good one. I think it's fundamentally sound because it's just true. But what you say publicly and what you think privately are not always the same thing, and you won't really know whether you're past it until you find yourself in a situation where the leather is flying and whistling past your nose, to be honest.
Bit of a buzz in the crowd now, really bustling. I think it's going to be pretty sold out in here at Brentwood tonight. A couple of the ticket sellers still to come. Plenty of people have come to see Alex Cole. He got a terrific reception as he made his ring walk. Needs to try and make that southpaw jab an asset for him. Especially with Przewieslik being out of the ring over the last couple of years. Try and plant some seeds of doubt in him.
That's a nicely timed left hand there from Cole.
A short right hand there from Przewieslik. I think he is moving in the kind of direction to stay away from the left hand himself. It's probably a good move.
When he's landed that right hand, it's been just off the back of Cole either throwing or landing a short left hand of an almost identical nature. It's quite interesting. They get close. Cole will throw that left hand and bring that left hand back low, and Przewieslik will throw the right hand. As I say, a very similar one, and managed to find a way through for it. It's kind of warming up this final 30 seconds of round two.
Yeah, it's nicely poised, isn't it? I think it might be quite evenly matched here, but we'll see. What's it going to boil down to? Who's going to try and grab this by the scruff of the neck? wants it a bit more. There was a nice spearing body shot in there from Cole.
And then a decent combination off the back of it too.
Just missed with the right hand there at the end, a counter shot for Przewieslik. I suspect in that Polish corner they'd be saying to them, you can win this tonight. He might have come in as the opponent, but as ever, there's an opportunity to readjust, reframe according to how things are unfolding.
I'd like to see him really go for it, Przewieslik, because I think it'll bring the best out of him. I think it'll bring the best out of Cole, because there's some good fundamentals there. His feet are decent. He tucks up quite effectively. But it'd be good to see him just punch with a bit more spite. He tends to push his punches out a bit rather than really throw them. Nice left hand straight down the middle there, and if his opponent's going to keep coming at him, then he's going to need to set his feet a little bit more. He won't have too much choice. He's looking slightly more aggressive at the start of the round here.
And it looks like the corner have told him that. He's trying to get front foot, trying to be a bit more aggressive. He's certainly busier through the first 30 seconds of round 3. And in doing that, as Andy said, might just put him in, he might put himself in danger as well with this approach.
It weights quite on the front foot, Przewieslik, isn't it? When you look at that stance, he is quite heavy on that front foot. So when he comes in, it's that little bit more difficult for him to bring it back. His feet crossed there as he stepped forward. He switched into southpaw almost, courtesy of throwing a right hand and bringing the right foot in with it. And for Cole, he could almost wait for him to do that, to initiate that attack. Little half step back and then just really try and hit him on the way in.
He's certainly quicker when he gets off those really fast, short shots, Cole, isn't he? He's certainly racking up the points in those little sequences. And that was better, a bit more spite in the backhand there.
That was a good one too. Looks for the uppercut there.
Yeah, and that might be the shot, as Andy was saying. If Przewieslik is coming forward with a bit of weight on that front foot, he might just be vulnerable to that uppercut. That could be the shot to select for Cole. Minute to go. Better rounds for Cole, this one. So far, it doesn't seem the kind of fight that anyone's going to grab control of, but I think the work in this third round from Cole is as close as we've got.
I'd say so. He's been nice and busy, but there's just been a little bit more on those shots. There's a bit of blood coming out of the end of the nose there of Przewieslik, I think. Doesn't look like too much of a problem, but that's a nice 1-2 again. Half blocked, but I think the left hand kind of ricocheted through from Cole. And again,
lands the backhand again, didn't he? And he tried the uppercut again. Might just be a little blood coming from the nose of Przewieslik. Better round that. That's exactly what was required for Alex Cole. Now, if you're watching this on recording, then you'll already know. But if you're watching this with us live, good evening to you, hope you're well. Cracker of a fight coming up later on. Juan Francisco Estrada against Bam Rodriguez, that's just about as good as it gets, Andy.
It is. It's one of those ones that just gets you salivating, isn't it? It's... Personally, I think that Rodriguez will have a bit too much. I think he's just a bit too young, a bit too fresh. Estrada's had loads of fights, and there's not like there's been particular signs of deterioration, but he hasn't boxed for quite a long time, and it's the whole activity thing, particularly as you get older. It could go one or two ways, can't it? Because you're so experienced, and if you live a life, which he definitely does, then you can cope with an absence. But then one night you get in there, and what you need just isn't quite there anymore. And against Rodriguez, he's going to need it, isn't he?
Absolutely, amen to that. As we move into the fourth of this one, scheduled for 6, that's scheduled for 12 later on tonight. There's no question Estrada, the best fighter by some margin, I think, that Bam Rodriguez has faced in his career so far. Really looking forward to that one. Enjoying how this is bubbling up. There's a test being presented to Alex Cole tonight, and that's exactly what you want early on in his career. Got a record of 7 wins, a loss and a draw so far, and he's rebounded from that loss with a couple of back-to-back points wins, both in February and in May. So this is third outing of 2024. 3 fights in 4 months, an element of busyness, which is what any fighter wants to.
Especially off the back of getting stopped, I think it is genuinely a good idea to get back in there as quick as you can when you're in the early stages, particularly. Just try and get that confidence back. Good uppercut on the inside there, and he's done some good stuff in this round so far.
And he's got size as well. You know, he's coming at 170 tonight. He's definitely got the advantages in sort of physique, size, length, though not necessarily the style to make all of that pay. But he is getting more front foot last couple of rounds. Certainly that trickle of blood is more pronounced now, coming from the nose of Przewieslik. Just missed with a right hook of his own in that last exchange.
Przewieslik definitely still trying to come forward and make things happen here, but I think the last couple of rounds Cole has put him in his box to an extent, because early on I just got the feeling that he was thinking to himself, Przewieslik, this guy doesn't really punch hard. I can maybe just crawl all over him, see what happens. I know he's been stopped, maybe I can make him panic a bit, but he hasn't been able to do it, because Cole has, in the last couple of rounds, definitely has just sat down on those punches a little bit more. I'm not sure he ever really sits down on them, but just a bit more anyway.
Well, I think it's just commitment, isn't it, Andy? There's just overall more commitment to the cause. More front foot, a bit more aggressive, trying to press and just a bit busier all round, and that commitment has been bearing fruit for him. Nice left hand again. I think he's landed 3 of those backhands throughout the 4 rounds so far.
Uppercut landed there, and I think he feels he might have hurt him a little bit, because he's going after him slightly there. Left hand to finish the round as well.
Yeah, he quickened his step, didn't he? And suddenly he was alert, and after Przewieslik, he's had a couple of back-to-back rounds, Cole. And maybe now he's just unsettling Przewieslik.
That uppercut's worked for him a few times, hasn't it? Sometimes it lands to the body, sometimes it finds the chin.
No doubt the uppercut is there for him from time to time. Yeah, he's tried it, quite been able to land it.
Seconds out, round 5.
Into the penultimate round then, round 5 off a scheduled 6. Still plenty to come tonight on this top-tier show. Paul Gordon against Kevin Revell for the Southern Area title, first defence of that title for Gordon. George Liddard and Jimmy Sains, Tiki-selling unbeaten punchers coming up as well, and Lily Winch makes her eagerly awaited professional debut as well. All of that still to come after this one.
And it's pretty much full here. There's still people coming in away to our right-hand side, but I'd say before too long, most seats are going to be taken, which is which is a good effort. And you mentioned it earlier on, Johnny Clark kind of taking these two guys on loan, and that's the analogy I used when I spoke to him about it. It's a good idea, isn't it? It makes so much sense because they get to fight more regularly. They've boxed on big cards all over the place, those two. Some have been in London, but none have been as local to them as this, because one of them's from Brentwood and the other one's from Billericay. So it makes all the sense in the world for literally everyone involved.
And it's a completely different experience, Andy. I mean, those two guys that will have boxed on, you know, some of the big matchroom undercards, and maybe they've gone into the arena at a time when there's more people in the crowd than tonight. Maybe, maybe not. But the point is, there's a kind of whisper and a hush in those crowds as they're all spaced out. Tonight, there's a buzz already. They're going to see the eyeballs of the fans tonight. They're going to hear them tonight. It's going to be a totally unique experience for those young fighters tonight, something they haven't encountered before. And I only see that positively.
Agreed. And the Polish corner are getting excited in the last 30 seconds. They felt that a right hand from Przewieslik got through, landed on Cole, and that maybe he felt it, and they're just urging him on now to go after this.
Well, he landed another little short right hook as well, just as you were saying that. So what's kind of been required all night from Przewieslik, he's belatedly copping onto it. And just as Alex Cole's been sort of building up a little bit of momentum and control in this fight through the third and fourth rounds, maybe just Przewieslik putting a halt to that to an extent, or trying to put a buffer in the way. He's letting go though, isn't he, the Pole?
He is, he's working hard here, and you can see that he's making Cole work hard too. He just takes a big puff of breath as he was leaning over Przewieslik's shoulder there, Cole. The right hand from Przewieslik landed. And this is going to be an interesting final round, you know, last 10 seconds of round 5 here, because there wasn't all that much in the first couple of rounds. Cole definitely won 3 and 4. Przewieslik's won that round.
Yeah, and it's given him incentive to have a lash in the final 3 minutes. Oh, that was the right hand. He backed off Cole, didn't he?
He absolutely did. And he knew it, Przewieslik, as well. We feel like we're able to spot most things from here when we're only a few feet away, but when you see a fighter all of a sudden just close in with that bit of urgency, you know, don't you? Even if we haven't really seen it, we know, because they feel it. They feel just, even if it's minimal, that slight bit of give, that slight bit of wilt, they feel their opponent yield the touch.
Corners, 10 seconds.
And that is just like lighting a fire under them. So I think we could see an interesting sixth and final round here. You're so right with what you said about this experience for Liddard and Sainslow, because they're up at the top of the bill. One's literally the top of the bill, the other one's towards the top of the bill, and it's just a completely different thing and completely different kind of pressure.
All of that still to come. Could be a buzzing final 3 minutes in this one, with Przewieslik incentivized perhaps with a couple of those right hands that landed in the fifth.
Be good to see Cole really snap that jab in those situations, wouldn't it? He doesn't really do it. He uses it, but he uses it to work his way in or measure the distance for that left hand. He's nice and tall. If he just stood up a little bit straighter and really tried to ram that jab home.
Final couple of minutes then. Here's the right hand again, kind of clipping shot from Przewieslik.
Nicely timed left there though from Cole as Przewieslik looked to try and close in. I suspect the referee have
Cole edging this one, I suspect. A couple of moments that have just reminded him how hard this game is. Not necessarily been in trouble or unnerved in any way, but just little reminders for him.
For Cole to be in any trouble here, then the referee will have needed to have given the first 2 rounds to Przewieslik, which I think probably won't have happened because there wasn't much in either of them. It could well be that Cole has got both of them, which would leave him, by my reckoning, 4-1 up going into this final round. And I'd have him ahead in this one so far, although Przewieslik is looking to try and finish strong.
Not quite had the success with the right hand as he did in the previous round, and I think that backhand, the left hand of Cole, has just been enough of a deterrent just to keep him away. But I think Andy's right. When you're a southpaw, everything's got to start with a jab, isn't it? And that would be the thing. Almost a whole day just working on the jab, another day just on the jab, and make it the starting point. But Przewieslik wasn't quite able to build on that 5th round, the momentum that he'd created. And Alex Branson-Cole managed to deter him with a few lefts of his own inside the final 3 minutes.
But you look at this for an experience for these two as well, because he does sell some tickets, Alex Cole, but he's in the second half of the bill here, if you like. And look how full it is already. We were talking about it the last couple of fights. This is not normal for him either to fight in front of this size of crowd. I don't think. I've not been at every single one of his fights.
No, it's not. This is the best crowd I've seen here in ages. Remember, there was a really good, noisy partisan crowd when I was here a couple of years ago for Michael McKinson fighting Rocky Kelly. That was a terrific atmosphere that night. But I think this is a bigger crowd and one of the best I've seen here in quite some time. And I think they're going to make themselves heard as the likes of Liddard and Sains make their way in a little bit. And those are still to come. Let's see how this one panned out.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, we go to the referee scorecard. Your ringside referee scores the bout 59-55. And your winner, Alex Cole!
4 points in it, then 5-1. Ultimately, it was in rounds scored to Alex Cole, who continues his resurgence with a 3rd win on the spin, Andy.
And it's a good fight for him, that too, because Przewieslik gave it a go there. 5-1. That 5th round would have been the one that the referee would have scored to Przewieslik, and she obviously did find either of the first couple for the Polish fighter, which is fine. I'm not saying she should have, but he's neat and tidy, Cole, isn't he? You just feel like there's more there. There's more there.
Well, he got a big cheer when he came in, and a rousing reception from his fans after that one. He's got the decision, comfortably so. Let's find out if it was a comfortable night's work. He's with Ali.
You didn't get it all your own way, but you got the win. Just sum up your performance in that.
I thought the first 2 rounds are good, and now I got sloppy. I do feel a bit disappointed, but that's up to my coach to decide. But I feel like, well, I got the win, so I guess that's the best thing. I can't be too harsh on myself. That's my coach's job. But yeah, all in all, got the win. He's a tough man.
Yeah, difficult opponent to go up against. But it looked like you came out with different tactics from round 3. Is that what the instructions were from the corner?
They were. We had 3 different opponent changes, so 3 different tactic changes. But that's no excuse. But yeah, from the 3rd round, I was trying to get into a bit more, but I was getting a bit lazy.
Where do you go from here? What is next?
We see what's next. Boxing's a tough sport, and you know what I mean, it depends on which way you can get. Southern area, English, whatever I can get really. It's a tough call to decide. That's up to my manager. But yeah, anything really. Another fight.
Final word for the supporters in here. There's a lot of them in here tonight for you.
Thanks to my missus, Lilia. She's watching somewhere in a boozer. My coach, and everyone from Faversham. Thank you.
Well done, Alex. Great performance.